Hey everyone, Lewis aka Spider-Man 1991 here, continuing my issue-by-issue review of Invincible, the end of all things, the final story arc in this title, with part 6 in issue number 38. So what happens in this issue is Mark, Nolan, the Coalition's army, and the Viltrumites that are pretty much staying on Earth battle Thrag's army. Unfortunately for them, Thrag's numerous offspring and the Velociraptor aliens, I can't remember the name of the species that he brought with them, does start to overwhelm their forces. And eventually this leads to a big death towards the end of the issue. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Rex has the Viltrumites' children that they procreated with humans in custody at the Pentagon. While speaking to the group, Rex says that he's doing this for their own good, to protect them, but you can't help get that sinister vibe from him that Rex has some ulterior motive planned. Now let me tell you what I thought of this issue. And spoiler alert, the person who dies in this issue is Nolan. Mark's dad, leader of the Viltrumites, former Omni-Man, he is apparently dead in this issue. While in the past Viltrumites have suffered fatal injuries before, sometimes they've grown back. However, I think in this case it's going to be permanent. Now in my review for the last issue in this arc, I actually stated, like right when I was doing the filming, that I figured Nolan was gonna die, and this issue proved me right. I think that it makes sense for the story. I think it's a good place to put Mark after the story, once the war with Thrag is resolved and he's dead. This puts Mark in an interesting place because, first of all, Nolan is became the de facto leader of the Viltrumites, and with Nolan gone and Mark's brother Oliver gone, that means Mark is probably the person next in line to lead the Viltrumites. The thing that separates Death in Invincible from other mainstream comic books is that it can actually be permanent in this universe. That's the kind of thing that I love about Invincible, is that it takes all the stereotypical tropes that we know from most mainstream comics and turns on their head. In this case, death isn't a revolving door in this universe. It's permanent. Characters die and they don't come back. And going back to what I said earlier about this being an interesting situation for Mark, is that pretty much for the last I'm trying to get a rough estimate here, I want to say 15, 20 issues, Mark has not lived on Earth in a while. So I think being the new leader of the Viltrumites, that would give him and Eve an excuse to go back to Earth. And of course, if Mark comes back to Earth after being named the leader of the Viltrumites, that will pretty much lead into a final confrontation with Rex, with, you know, the Viltrumites' children being kidnapped and all. Nevertheless, I am very sad that Nolan is dead. He was a very interesting character. He was very complex. He evolved as much as Mark during the series, but I think in order for Mark to really grow as a character, he had to lose his dad. It is a fantastic element introduced into this story arc, and killing off a longtime character definitely makes this feel more final. Also, on the artwork side, Ryan Ottley, he's still doing an amazing job on this title. All of his fight scenes are spectacular. You really get a feel for the kind of destruction and death that each side is experiencing, and you can tell by like the expressions on the characters' faces as they're fighting, like, you know, neither side wants the other to win and stuff, and how determined they are to make sure it doesn't happen. So, like I said, we are halfway done with the story, and it's still awesome. I'm enjoying it a lot. I have been reading Invincible for a while. When I was starting to explore options other than DC and Marvel, this was one of the series titles that I kept reading, and I'm glad I did because it is amazing. If you love superhero comics, Invincible is a series that you must read. Alright, that's it for me. Check out my other videos. If you want to keep up with me reviewing, I'm going to be reviewing every single issue of the final story arc that comes out, so stay tuned for that. Remember to stay subscribed and notified. I'm Spider-Man 1991 saying, see you later.